everybody, what's up? My name is DJ.
I am Beau.
And we are in the band HollowKin, and we wanted to do a quick rig rundown of both of our guitar rigs and show you around all the bits and pieces that we use when we play live. Come with us. All right, so let's start with the amp kind of side of things over here with this magnificent beast right here. This is the Victory VX Kraken Mk. It's a 50 watt tube amp with two 6L6 power tubes in it, and it is absolutely wicked. I fell in love with it the first time I played with it, and it's been my amp for the studio, it's been my amp for live applications and every rehearsal ever since. It's just got the bite and the sound that I love the most. It's only got gain channels, it doesn't have a clean channel, so I keep the gain 1 channel rolled back, so it's just at the edge of breakup, and then gain 2 channel, I've got it cranked about halfway, and that creates a really nice lead channel for me because, as we'll talk about in a second, I've got a separate distortion pedal that I use for all my rhythm tones. The Kraken is plugged into the orange PPC 412 4x12 cab. I use this as much as I can live. Obviously, I can't use it every time we play live because sometimes the backline is provided for us, but we certainly use it in the studio, and I drag it every time we rehearse as well. It's got 4 vintage Celestion 30 speakers in it. I said that the wrong way around, but that's okay. And again, they're just the best speakers that I think you can use for the style of music that we play. In between the Kraken and the orange 4x12, we also use this because, frustratingly, the Kraken doesn't have an emulated line out, which for most people is absolutely fine, but for us using in-ears, we take the line from the guitar head straight into our mixer, and then that goes into our ears, so we don't need monitors on stage. So this takes a feed from the head and then takes a feed out into the cabinet, and in between we take a XLR output from it into our mixer, and that's what gets sent to our ears. So it just picks up the live head sound, and it's got an emulated 4x12 cabinet in it as well, which is not great, but it's fine for monitoring purposes. So that sits between the head and the cab. One thing that's probably worth mentioning is that in this day and age, for a metal band or any band really, to still be using analog tech is somewhat unusual in a world of digital modeling and pedals and all the rest of it. I have tried modelers and I have tried digital, but it just isn't for me. So for me personally, I still think analog is best and Valve Tech is best, or transistor amplifiers as well. It doesn't have to be valves, but just real amplifiers. It was quite interesting. We did a festival last year, and at the end of the night, the sound tech came up to us and said that out of all the bands, I think there was about 8 or 9 bands, all the other bands were digital, and we were the only band using amps, and he said ours sounded the best. And what truth there is to that, I don't know, but I just thought it was quite an interesting kind of take on things. And he said it's just the difference it makes in having real amps pushing real air in a live situation. We didn't mic them up, we just had them absolutely cranked to the heavens, and they just sound so good. And I just think digital's close, but it's not the same. So there you go, that's why we have analog still. I've only brought 3 guitars with me today. I use a selection of guitars depending on kind of how I'm feeling. I have 2 guitars that are loaded with Fishman Fluences. This is one of them. This is my Epiphone Les Paul Matte Heafy Origins Custom. It is stock. It is as it came from the factory. I haven't done anything to it at all because I think it's perfect as it was. It's got the Matte Heafy Fishman Fluences in them. They are just Fishman Fluences. They aren't like voiced differently for him. They're just his custom ones with the gold squiggle on it, but otherwise they're completely stock and completely standard. I do love Fishmans. Fishmans are just such clear, crisp, really, really articulate kind of pickups, and being that it's a Les Paul custom, you've got so many different tonal variations with all the different push-pull pots on there as well. I also bought 2 passive pickup guitars as well. This is my baby. This is my Solar T2.7 LN Plus. This has got the, again, stock Seymour Duncan Solar Plus pickups in it, and again, I've never wanted to change these. This one really shines when we do clean sections. The position 2 and 4 absolutely perfect. I love positions 2 and 4 on this. It's almost got like a Strat-esque kind of quack to it. Absolute quack. Hey, it's perfect. Those clean sections shine with this one. It's wicked when you're on the bridge position and you're going great guns as well. But yeah, this one's wicked. And another one guitar that I picked up late last year. This is my Schecter C7 Silver Mountain. Again, all stock, apart from the fact that I've sanded the awful neck on the back. If you're ever at one of our shows, you're welcome to come and touch it, because it is beautiful and it's the smoothest neck you'll ever feel in your whole life. But again, it's just a stock as it came. Schecter C7 guitar. It's really nice. We only play 7 strings, so this is our arsenal. This is my arsenal, at least, is always 7 strings, and we tune to A, drop A, so A and then E standard on the top 6 strings. And that's just a little selection of my guitars. Let's check out the pedal board. Right. Pedal board wise, it's a relatively straightforward pedal board because I am a set and forget kind of guitarist. I don't tone chase. I think you just waste so much time chasing tones, when if you find something you like, just kind of stick with it. So everything on here is as functional as it needs to be. There's nothing more than I want than what's here. So the main distortion that I use right here is my Empress Effects Heavy Menace. So it's the baby version of the Empress Heavy, and again, it just does what I need it to do. It's got a super, super tight noise gate built into it, so it's super snappy, kind of Fear Factory-esque. It just clamps down when you need it to, and that's what we need for a lot of our stuff, being that it's so tight and rhythmic. So that is the perfect kind of gain pedal for me, which is why I don't use the amps distortion, because I want it to be silent immediately, and I haven't found a noise gate that does that quick enough for me compared to the Heavy Menace. So that is perfect. I've got an EQ pedal. That is only set up for sections in songs when we do like megaphone, telephone kind of EQ kind of stuff. So it's just got the mids pumped right up and the treble and the bass turned right down. So it just kind of gives this super unsaturated kind of sound. That's literally all. It goes on and off briefly, but it just adds a bit of texture. The delay is the same kind of thing. I only use it very briefly. This is Beau's TC Electronic Flashback, and I literally have it for like 2 songs, and it's just very subtle, just to add some texture and nuance to some of the clean sections. The main thing that we use in our clean sections is the Big Sky by Strymon. And although this pedal does so much, it's insane, we literally use about 2 different sounds on it. But it's nice to have the options to do more. But yeah, we just use Nimbus and Articulate in various different parts of different songs. It's just perfect. It's just the swells and the kind of the clean reverb that you get from it. There's nothing like it. Last 2 pedals on my pedal board, of course, the Digitech Whammy. Every modern metal band has to have a Digitech Whammy. This just set up for various different things, for various different songs. One of our songs we dropped down to drop F sharp, and to save having to cart different guitars to the gig, we just use this, and it's easy enough, it does the job. And then it's set up as well on the momentary side for like octaves, because a couple of our songs I need to jump between the octaves, so that's all that's used for. And then I've got the Morley Wah pedal here as well, and I have a Crybaby too, but I prefer the Morley because it's always on. You don't ever have to push a button to turn it on. It's off now, and as soon as I start using it, it magically comes on. It's amazing. That is all powered by the Fender Engine Room Level 8, which again does everything I need it to. It's even got a USB-A and a USB-C output on as well, so I can charge my phone at the same time. It's incredibly convenient. And that's it. That's all stuck to a pedal train. I don't think that's particularly interesting, but I thought I'd mention it. And yeah, that's my pedal board.
Cool. Okay, so my rig setup is the same as DJ, so I run it through the VX Kraken. I usually use the same cab as well, an orange cab, but for tonight I've just got the Black Star, which is great. Yeah, and that all runs through exactly the same as DJ's, runs through this little red box here, which goes through to our in-ears. Guitar-wise, I've got a few guitars, but this is my main one, what I use pretty much all the time. It's a BC Rich Shredzilla, and the neck on this, the reason I bought it was purely because of how the neck looks. I love that. But it's a bonus that it plays really, really well. This did have a gloss finish. That was the only thing that kind of let it down for me, and that was just a visual kind of thing. As you can see, I've very poorly taken sandpaper to it. DJ is going to take it off of me and get in there and make it a nicer finish. But I don't like my guitars looking too shiny and spangly. I like them to look like, you know, they've been in some kind of accident. That's just how I like my guitars to look, road worn. Yeah, this is great. Again, 7-string. This has got the Damasio Super Distortion pickups in it. They're fantastic. Yeah, they've got a nice clean tone. It's got coil tapping as well. I use that occasionally for when I'm playing clean tones, which is on a couple of our songs. This guitar also has a Evertune. This is the first Evertune I've ever owned, and it is great, to be fair. I do take it to someone to set up every time I change the strings, because I'm lazy, but also because there is quite a bit with it that you can kind of get wrong with an Evertune. So I just take it to someone to do that for me. It just saves me having to do it. But yeah, that's my guitar. Okay, so this is my pedal board. I'll run you through the pedals. So my main distortion, which I use for all my rhythm sections, is the Heavy Menace. This is, like I say, the main one. It's got a very, very kind of beefy kind of tone. It's the tone that I find that it just suits me down to the ground. I also have here the Empress Heafy. Now this actually is the big brother of this one here. However, I find it's got a smaller sound. I had this first as my main distortion, and then I basically copied DJ and went for this, and I find it's got a much more fuller kind of sound, which suits our music. Anyway, so I still use this occasionally, but I've got the drive down on it, so I use this more as a drive than a distortion. Here we've got the Digitech Drop pedal. I use that on quite a few of our songs where we're dropping. Obviously, it saves bringing more guitars to the show. I literally use that for a couple of our songs. Here we've got the Strymon Big Sky. Again, this has so many settings on it. However, I use one setting just because I haven't really gone through all the settings to see them, but I found one that I liked and I used that. Here we've got a delay. I use that on one of our songs. Don't really use it that often, but it's there if I do ever need it. It's just a Boss DD7 delay I've had for a long time. Now this here is, it looks complicated, but it's not. It's basically just a loop station. So what this enables me to do is to switch on and off multiple pedals at any one time. For example, that in one of our songs, I need to come out of a heavy distortion channel, but drop into a clean section with the Strymon, but also have like the drop pedal on, for example, as well. So rather than me tap dancing, going 1, 2, 3, and especially if you're playing something complex beforehand, you just need to concentrate on what you're playing and not where you're putting your feet. I literally just hit one pedal and it turns all three on and turns the distortion off as well. So yeah, it enables me to do that. Again, I haven't looked into the other stuff it does because it has got MIDI as well, which means that it could potentially control the channels on the Big Sky as well, or any other MIDI device that you've got. I've not looked into how to do that as yet. But yeah, so that is my pedal board. Obviously, I've just got a, this is a Dunlop power supply. It's fine. And here we've got the pedal train. Again, that's just, that's fine. It's nice and lightweight. I have got other pedal boards at home where I've used in big flight cases, but 9 times out of 10, they're just too bulky and heavy to kind of cart around all the time. So yeah, the pedal trains are nice and lightweight.
Cool.